When this war first broke out, we weren't even born. And yet still we struggle with everything we have.
At number 1, and from roughly 15 months ago where we initially came across the title, we have over here a free-to-play third-person shooter by Nixon, and one that's built with the use of Unreal Engine 5, something going by the name Warhaven. This is a 16 vs 16 co-op battle royale style melee and shooter, one with a medieval style aesthetic and only releasing for PCs in 2023. Check it out, the global beta for this game is on the way starting October 12th this year.
But that's not how our story ends. We rise once more. And in the name of the Immortals, we are brought back to fight anew. But why return to this carnage? Why doom ourselves to unceasing strife? Because the bones of this war will build a haven for all.
I'm not gonna lie, this actually caught me off guard, and I don't even know why I've never mentioned this one before on the list. Perhaps because I wasn't aware of it. Guys, we have at number 2 a little bit of almost all the goodness that came out in 2022 in a new title called Synduality. This is a Death Stranding inspired Star Ocean-y RPG open world mix, and visually probably the most vibrant looking one compared to whatever I mentioned. This is a next generation console exclusive and set to be released mid to late next year.
緊急迎撃システム起動。強敵ではありますが、我々の本気を見せてあげま。高エネルギー反応。対象から攻撃来ます。お、やりすぎちゃいました？おはようございます。さあ。
こんな刺激的な朝は初めてだ。
Number 3 by Funcom. In case you are new to it, however, this is the same folks who came up with the first Dune game more than 30 years ago and pretty much silent ever since. We have with us, and I've mentioned this one before, a brand new open world survival Dune game going by Awakening. Just take a look. It's a very short trailer and the game's set to be released for PCs in the next generation of consoles only sometime later.
I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. When the fear is gone, there will be nothing.
Moving on, and this is a pretty short one, so I'll try to make it quick. See, at NACON's showcase a little while ago, we did get a glimpse of a new sort of Robin Hood game, something called Gangs of Sherwood. Supposedly a third-person single-player, but also co-op action shooting game. Not much else is really known about this one except that the game's releasing for the next generation of consoles and due out early to mid 2023. And number 5 from earlier this month, with an insane amount of hype by Sega and also the same team behind Alien Isolation games, we've got Hyenas, which is a multiplayer-based science fiction first-person shooter where you technically get to play the role of some sort of twisted Robin Hood again, something. Here's the trailer. This game's set to be coming to consoles, to both generation and edition PCs except Switch, sometime next year.
I said stop playing with the merch and move.
Can't you see we're busy?
Very busy, darling.
I've seen plenty of criminals in my career, but nothing could have prepared me for this.
Gotham Knights, in case you haven't get caught up with the news yet, just on the way a new announcement, and instead of October 21st, it's gonna be released October 4. This game will have ray tracing effects on PCs. I've known about this the whole time, but we just got a new trailer and Gotham Knights got its first gameplay showcase on PCs. Guys, the game is eventually releasing for the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. It'll be an all-new story revolving around the Court of Owls and some mysteries that will eventually connect the darkest chapters in the Gotham City's history. Take a quick look.
Over Gotham. Nothing can stop it. See you at the premiere.
I need your help. Your skills. Your knowledge. Your adaptability. You got my back?
Oh, boys!
This biopic is based on a true story. My story. Soon, the world will feel the cold as I do.
I got one last little surprise for you.
We were cast away. Only remnants of these stories remain in the sand.
Now, stepping into action RPG territory, just a bit though. At number 7 from precisely a month ago, we also have Atlas Fallen. This is a fantasy action RPG from the same creators behind the Surge game, developers called Dig 13, and this time around with a Middle Eastern inspired theme in the game. In fact, the game is even partly an open world. Here's the trailer that Focus Entertainment just came up with, and the game's releasing for PCs in the next generation of consoles early to mid next year.
Even in ruins, we endure.
Now at number 8, we have another fall over here going by Ashfall. This is also an MMORPG, which is in development for the Android and iOS devices specifically, but then eventually the game is coming to PCs as well, and aesthetically, this is actually a shooter with some wasteland-themed post-apocalyptic AI catastrophe premise thing to it. This is some early developed gameplay, and I've just realized this myself, the game is even soundtracked by Hans Zimmer.
an unknown world. It's our new homeland. Or our resting place.
So, Bikitoa Island's been sealed up for 3 years, and Ibius won't own up to Leviathan's malfunction?
Can you address the reports of exofighter patrols on the island?
Reports of exofighter patrols are simply untrue. Ibius is committing all possible resources to the investigation.
Exoprimal, on the other hand, just came out with a new trailer showcasing some actual gameplay and a release window of 2023 mid across all consoles and PCs as well, except Switch. Guys, for those of you new here, this is a first-person survival shooter in which futuristic folks in some mech suits get to face off dinosaurs due to some natural disaster or whatever. This is actually in development by Capcom, the game not a next-gen exclusive, and it is purely a multiplayer game.
It's trying to build stronger exosuits, so it's pulling any exofighter in our hole back in time to these bloody war games.
Like it or not, the exosuit's keeping us alive out there.
But the more we use it, the more it helps Leviathan.
Well, that's not an option.
One way or another.
Valued team members, prepare for dimensional integration in 10 minutes.
You stay alive, man. Only you.
If you give an AI like Leviathan the directive, improve our exosuits, it has to complete it. It doesn't matter whether that takes 100 tries, million, all for the perfect suit.
More than that.
But at least do me the courtesy of looking me in the face whilst you do it.
Come to Earth. Her power true.
Next up by Digital Software, we have once again a free-to-play game and also the follow-up to 2013's Warframe. Here with us something called Soulframe, which is supposedly more of a melee-focused game just in terms of gameplay. Now, Soulframe doesn't have a release date yet at the time. Technically, it started development at the beginning of 2022, but we know it is coming to PCs and Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5 as well by the end of 2023.
Flash is alive, and he's playing for Team Brainiac.
I gave you orders. Kill the Flash, or I'll kill you myself.
Cool.
Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, on the other hand, which just got delayed to spring next year, in case you were waiting for, or didn't know this before, was actually first announced in August of 2020, and it was ever since set to be a next generation console exclusive. An open world co-op action game in terms of gameplay, and eventually releasing later this year. Just check it out. Game's set to be coming out early to mid next year, and to accompany the delay, we've also got a new trailer.
Why don't you just mail me the bullet? I'm the eye in the sky. Taking point B, son.
Pulverize.
Who else needs a backing?
Nixon came out and released a new gameplay trailer on The First Descendant. What was previously known, just so you did miss out on, used to go by the name Project Magnum. A beta testing will now take place for the game starting October 20 to 26 on Steam, and it'll eventually release for PCs, Xbox, and the PlayStation consoles as well into both generations. Check it out. See, a couple of months ago, during the NetEase game livestream, we came across some actual gameplay on a game we've known ever since earlier this year, going by the name Once Human, or Once Be Human. A pretty unique looking, I would say, survival third-person co-op shooter, and one technically set in a world full of these horrifying monsters from another dimension. Here's the trailer, game set to be coming to PCs only early to mid next year.
What are you doing here?
It's happening again.
Paris was just the beginning. This is a global invasion.
Overwatch 2, on the other hand, just on a need-to-know basis, is the first game on the list, alongside Gotham Knights, to be released, if we get no further delays, however. The game is going to be coming to all consoles worldwide, October 4 this year. I did mention this a couple of days ago, but just in case you didn't get caught up with it, there's a new character that just got leaked, which we're not sure if it's a good idea because it's not official news, but you can look it up on YouTube, and that's all there is to it. So make sure to stay tuned for further updates.
Stop us. Trouble is cropping up all over the world. It's not just Null Sector.
A lot of lives are riding on what we do next.
We'll have to fight, one city at a time.
Let's get them, Brigitte!
I've got you, Papa.
Watching your back.
Now that's teamwork.
Time to learn some new tricks.
Now, next up by Arcane Austin. Pretty good folks who came out with the announcement of Redfall last year. We just got a new trailer for what y'all know to be a co-op open world third and first person shooter from the makers of Dishonored games. This is supposedly a more of a story focused shooter and taking inspiration from science fiction horror game elements. Check it out, the game is releasing early to mid next year for PCs and Xbox Series X only.
Some kind of collective consciousness.
Going up.
The witness is coming. The game is yours to play now.
These frail siblings.
And number 16. And technically since the release of The Witch Queen from earlier in February this year, we've got Destiny 2 Lightfall, which is due for release February 28th. 2023. The game just came across a delay, and the folks at the company are trying to be very tight-lipped with new content on the way. Take a look. Accompany the news, they also released a new trailer too.
The end is coming. The end is coming.
For those of you who missed out on the alpha test a little while ago, HypeSquad, on the other hand, which is a somewhat brand new action-packed 60-player multiplayer battle royale game that partly works like Fortnite in close quarters and whatnot, and so that the game's now on its way to PCs only, probably both generation of consoles as well at a later date, and due out early to mid next year. Check it out, just in case you missed it.
My strength has no match!
And finally, well, since a tad over a month ago, we have something here called Age of Water. Once again, an MMO adventure that takes place on this water-covered version of Earth, and as survivors you get to freely roam this massive open sea world on a motorboat, or some small ships, I believe. Going around and recruiting some folks, helping out people, and basically survive. This is a PC exclusive and due out late 2022. We're here.
In that world that I dream of,